Okay, here's part two. I have the new fuel pump in. This is a 98 Dodge half-ton 360. And there's the bed liner I get to pop back in once I fire it up. So here's the old fuel pump, and it had some age on it. This thing's got about 170,000 miles on it, so it just quit working completely. It started, what was happening was I was having to turn the key forward about 3 or 4 times to get it fired up first thing in the morning, so I could tell it was losing its life there. So you can look at the first video, part 1, and you can see all my measurements of what I've done here. So this is the new pump right there. It costs 230 bucks from A-Line in Texas, here in Elgin, Texas. The instructions said to pull the tank and drain it. That would have been a big mess. So I took it upon myself to do it Mike style and cut the bed out, which is great. So now I can service this thing. I can clean the tank if I want, real easy. Troubleshoot it and put a new pump in if this one decides to go bad after a couple of weeks, instead of what the instruction says is drop the tank. And some mechanics lift the bed, so I wasn't going to do either one. So basically cut my hole here. You can see the measurements on part 1 video. I explained how I cut it. It's pretty simple, unibit and a jigsaw or a sawzall, whatever you have. And if you use these exact measurements with the same model truck, of course you're going to want to climb under and check to make sure nobody's made any modifications on your truck. You should be safe. You always want to check though. You know, measure 3 times, cut once. In this case, it's really important. But it does really help. So once I snap this bed liner back in, nobody will ever know. And as long as I'm not putting, 100 pounds of pressure in this little area, I don't even have to build a trap door. And I can later. I can build a little trap door to kind of keep the bed strength back up. So there's the update. And if you can see right here, the hardest part about replacing this pump was, pulling it out was easy, was threading this ring around here without getting it cross threaded. So I had to maneuver the pump like one way or another to get it around these, because the deck clearance between this ring and this back deal here was kind of weird. So I moved the pump that way, got it started, and not everybody might have that problem, but I did. And then I got the ring going there without cross threading. But there's a green indicator right here on this one. You can't see it, but maybe you can there. That's where it's supposed to line up with this arrow and those 2 plastic notches. But the thing was really getting tight, so I think it's just this new rubber gasket that's in between there is thicker, or it's so new. Here's the old one that I was afraid that it was going to pop off the threads here. I didn't want to break this, so it's really tight. So I didn't crank it around all the way to that arrow like it was before, but it's okay. I'll keep an eye on it. Looks like it could rain today here in Texas, so that's my update. It works great. I cut a hole in my bed, and I suggest anybody do that if they, I think it improves the value of the truck if you have a slip-in bed liner and you're going to sell your vehicle to somebody that's a shade tree mechanic like me, because people like me like to do maintenance on their vehicles and not have to lift their bed up or drop the tank if something goes bad. And I've spent 3 days deciding on what I was going to do and research, and this was my solution. So I'm going to fire the truck up and show you that it runs now. So let's get in here. It's a 98 Dodge. I guess it helps if I have the keys. Try to keep these videos as short as possible, because I know I lose people's attention span is pretty low nowadays.
But not all.
The battery's fixing to die on this camera, so there you go. Fires right up, and of course I cranked it up one more time before I did the video, just so it wouldn't be a wasted video here at the end. So I did fire it up one time before, and it fired right up instantly. So that's it. Cutting a hole in the bed of your truck to replace your fuel pump that's in your tank. I suggest that if you're into it, and you won't ever have to pull the fuel pump out by lifting your bed or dropping your tank. So there you go, truck's running nice. And this fuel pump is a lot, you can't hear it, and the old one was louder. So I noticed when I turned the key forward in the old pump, it was making a lot of noise. And this one I didn't think was working when I first turned the key, because it didn't make any noise. So there you go, frytv.com. You can see more videos about this on frytv.com, part 1. This might be a part 3, but this is probably the end of this fuel pump video, because I don't think you need to know any more about measurements, because you can see that on part 1 as far as where to cut your hole. But it's doable and it's great, and no more lifting the bed or dropping the tank to replace a fuel pump. It's a design flaw if you ask me, and I think Dodge, Chevy, and all these guys should put an access door, a trap door to get to it. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, signing out for now, frytv.com. There's the fuel pump update, and it works great. Back on the road again.